There's something so luxurious about being outside in a beautiful garden. And so these here today are some of my top tips and tricks for a cheap yet lovely garden space. Hey there friends, I'm Heidi, the Heavenly Minded Homemaker, and while I love tending my home, our outdoor space is absolutely a part of that. I love being outdoors as much as I possibly can. Our kiddos, we love sitting outside and doing our homeschool. We love eating outside. I love just in my free time being able to come out and tend the garden, as there is something that is so therapeutic and wonderful about that. But I think for many of us, it can actually be a little overwhelming. There's so many things to do. Maybe it's not something you grew up with knowing. Maybe you have a small space or a space that you're not really sure how to work with. And sometimes I think that it can start to get a little expensive when we start looking at all the things that are out there that we could use for our garden. And so these are some of the ways that I build up a beautiful garden space for my family to enjoy that is very resourceful. It's very frugal. Sure, you can go all out, you can spend a bunch of time and money on it, but you don't have to. There's many things that you can do to create a lovely outdoor space that won't break the bank, and yet they can be largely enjoyed by your family and all those that come through your garden. Now, the first tip would definitely be to always shop clearance items first. I am notorious for this. The moment I get to the store, I always go to the clearance rack first. You would be amazed at the things that you find. Honestly, when I go to the store throughout the week to do things, Walmart, Lowe's, any local garden shops, I always stop by clearance. Even if I'm not really looking for anything in particular, I always go and pop by because it's amazing to see the things that just kind of make their way over there for only a few dollars a piece. Especially right now, there are many of the bulbs that the stores are clearancing out because they're about ready to move in with their new inventory and they need to make some room. If you've had bad weather in your area, you would be amazed at the amount of plants that didn't properly get taken care of during the bad weather that then are getting clearanced out for just dollars. And so I could probably spend less time showing you the things that I've bought full price versus the things bought on clearance, because for me, nearly everything from bulbs to plants to even supplies and decor around our garden space has all been thanks to the clearance aisle. My next tip would be to shop the native plants in your area. I get this is a little bit easier for us because we are on 8 acres, but whether you have a small yard or a large yard, it really is easy to shop native plants around you. For us, when I'm looking for something, before I go out and hunt down something to purchase, I usually kind of walk around and see if there is anything that I can repurpose. For us, we're getting ready to build a pallet fence around our yard here. And I found a ton of honeysuckle in a grove on the bottom part of our property that I'm going to dig up and transplant up here so that we can have honeysuckle growing on our fence around the patio. Whether it's something in your yard, whether it's posting on Facebook Marketplace and seeing if anybody has anything that they're looking to get rid of off their property, it takes a little bit of hard work as far as digging it up and transplanting it, but it's so rewarding when you can find things around the yard or around the area and, something that somebody doesn't want, and go ahead and put it in a new place, a new home, repurpose it that way, and then you know that you're putting something there into your space that already enjoys being in the land that you're on. And I think that's really, really nice when you can take a native plant, something that's already growing well around you, and just putting it somewhere that is beautiful so that it can be enjoyed. My next tip would be to repurpose resources. So like we're doing here with our collection of pallets so that we can build a beautiful pallet fence. I needed a way to trim my garden borders and I didn't want to spend a fortune. And so using branches and trees that have been cut down around the property or come down in storms, taking those to build our borders, it's a really great way to be able to take those resources, repurpose them, and have a new life waiting for how they can be used. Sometimes it takes a little bit of creativity, might seem a little silly doing it, but there's so many things that we have around us that instead of having to go out and spend a ton of money to buy a planter or to build garden beds, we can take things like old tires, like branches that have come down, old pallets, even old kid pools and toys and things like that, that maybe have lived their life already with their first purpose, but are perfect now to be repurposed and reused in a way that can really start to build this special little garden space that you have. So just like with my little dining table here, never underestimate the treasures that can be found in places like thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace. You'd be amazed at the things that people are ready to get rid of and move on to something else. Maybe they need a little loving care and attention to get them fixed. Maybe they need a fresh sanding or coat of paint or something to bring them back to life. But being able to find things like good old patio furniture, being able to find planters, fill dirt, even excess boards or old doors, things that can be repurposed and reused, using things like Facebook Marketplace or even just checking out in your thrift store, you can find so many wonderful things. Something that's super easy to find at a thrift store on Facebook Marketplace, it makes such a wonderful little water feature there in your garden, is to find any vessel that will hold water, whether you need to add a fresh coat of spray paint onto it or clean it up a little bit, and then you can pick up these solar water pumps for a fountain very inexpensively. I'll link my favorite down below. You just set these there in it, make sure it's in a nice sunny location, and all of a sudden you have this immediate water feature in your garden space. It looks and sounds lovely, but yet it was very inexpensive. In all of this, my fifth and final tip would be to remember what brings you joy. This is your garden space. It's for you and your family, for you to go out and enjoy, whether you're reading your Bible and drinking coffee in the morning, or you're dining al fresco with your family and putting candles on the table to enjoy. This is a space for you to enjoy. And so it doesn't matter if maybe it's not someone else's style, maybe it's a little funky or a little weird. Do you enjoy it? Do you find it lovely? Are you enjoying the adventure of tending to the space and watching it grow? For me, I love so much some of the things that maybe they weren't perfect, maybe it wasn't like exactly what I thought I wanted, but now, years later, I've seen those plants grow, I've seen the garden mature, I've seen it come through different phases. It's really a fun thing that I absolutely enjoy, and it brings me so much joy to get to spend my time tending my garden. And so it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. It's for you and your family to enjoy. These are some of my favorite tips and tricks in the garden space for being able to tend your garden, build up a beautiful space that you love and enjoy, but in a way that is cost effective, that's fun and allows you to be creative. So I hope this can be a help to encourage you to get out in your garden, do something fun, plant some flowers, do some little projects, find those things that you too enjoy. You'll have to let me know down below, what are some of your favorites? Let's share in the comments, and then we can all get out and start building up a space that we really do enjoy.